Hello everyone. As I promised, the good news for Cefr takers is here from me. Yeah, I wish to share a testimony from a candidate who took the exam in February 2020 recently. I hope that you will get the rough picture and tips and tricks to answer the four papers, which are speaking, reading, writing, and listening. Let's start. Can you explain about yourself?
My name is Ilyana Putribinti Azhar and I am a secondary school teacher. I have been teaching since February last year. I graduated from International Islamic University Malaysia in Cefr, and I am currently doing my master's degree also in Cefr in University Pendidikan Sultan Idris.
My second question is, may I know what were your greatest strengths to achieve C1 in your CEFR?
Among all of the four components, I think I did well in reading and speaking, so these two were my greatest strengths to achieve C1 in my CEFR.
As we know, there are four skills. I could see that you have scored high marks in reading. Can you explain the tips and tricks in scoring reading?
I don't have any tips and tricks for reading component, but what I did the night before the exam was I answered some reading questions in a Muat textbook just to get myself familiarized with the reading format. On the day of the exam, I started by answering every question that I was confident with and skipped any confusing and tricky questions. After I completed all the questions that I was confident with, that's when I went back to the confusing questions and gave my utmost attention by reading the text again and underlining any possible answers in the text.
Next is about speaking. How could you score C2 in speaking?
I talked to my friends and in front of the mirror to practice for the speaking component. For this component, it would be helpful if you focus on content instead of language. Try not to worry too much about your language, as it can make you feel nervous and hinder your thought. It is okay to only have one point as long as you know how to elaborate it and you can give a real life example to elaborate your points. Okay, another thing is it is important to pay attention to the other candidates as well, especially when they are presenting, so that you can take notes or jot down any notes that can be useful for the next part, which is the group discussion.
Anyway, what about writing?
One of the problems that I face in writing component was, I remember that I analyzed the visual inaccurately, but luckily I still had the time to make amendment. So make sure you analyze both visual correctly, read and understand both visual, and try to connect both visual. Okay, the steps taken to score in writings are, okay, first you need to memorize some of the useful expressions that you can use to report the trend, and you have to make sure that you report as much information as you can, and also try to use simple sentences only, because the main purpose for the first question, which is report writing, is to report what can you see from the visual. So make it simple and concise. Okay, as for the second question, I think I got an argumentative AC, and when it comes to argumentative AC, it is easier if you agree with this statement. And one thing that you need to remember is to only give suggestions in the concluding paragraph. Don't give suggestions in the body paragraph, because the body paragraph should only consist or comprise facts and also your opinions.
Listening. What do you think about 20 listening questions? Were they tough or easy? Any tips to use during exam?
I think the 20 listening questions were fairly tough for our level, and some of the tips are you will be given some time to read the questions first, and when you read the question, it is important for you to underline the keywords of every question and try to guess the possible answers of that questions. And when they play the audio for the first time, this is when you need to jot down as many information as you can. And when they play the audio for the second time, you need to check your answer, and also you need to focus on the information that you have missed earlier. Okay, another thing is try to finish every part right after the second play of the audio ends. This is because you need to pay attention, you need to focus on the next part. So that's why try to finish every part right after the second play of the audio.
Alright, last but not least, what would you like to say for those who are going to sit for Cefr Readiness?
To those who are going to sit for Cefr, all the best. Make sure you do enough preparation, and one of the things that you can do is by studying the format. It's very technical, so that's why you need to know the format before sitting for the exam. Don't be afraid of failing the test, because you can still repeat. It's not the end of the world, and it is also not an indication that you're a bad English teacher. It's understandable because English is not our first language, and learning English is an ongoing process. It's not only for our students but also for us as teachers. So once again, all the best.
Alright. Do you wish to know Miss Ilyana Putri? Here you are. Thank you for giving some ideas, Miss Ilyana Putri, on CEFR, and hope the test takers benefited from my video. I have more videos on all the 4 skills. You are most welcomed to watch the videos which are in my channel, and praying for you to obtain flying colors. Sharing is caring. Good luck, everyone. Do your best. Bye-bye.